yourself again, um, and what you're doing and all the good stuff to come. And we can start with Pastor Lisa.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. I am Pastor Lisa Maxwell. I am an associate pastor at Praise Tabernacle International in the beautiful Fort Lauderdale. I am married to Pastor Robert. We've been married for 24 years, 24 beautiful and amazing years.
Yes.
We had two beautiful children and our newly grandparents, and we have six of them, count them, six
Six.
beautiful goddaughters. And right now, my focus is on really the ministry, getting it up and running, get events organized. And I also am working on two books. It's a secret right now, but I'm working on two books. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
And I am Pastor Robert Maxwell. As my beautiful wife has said, we've been married for 24 wonderful years, and we have two beautiful children and one gorgeous granddaughter.
Yes.
And six goddaughters. So yes, I am a girl dad. I am a girl dad. And very happy and proud to be it. Also, I'm an associate pastor at Praise Tabernacle International.
Yes.
Where we have our senior leaders, which is Pastor Dwayne Dawkins and his lovely wife, Pastor Tamia Dawkins.
Yes. So that is so exciting. So PTI, for those of you who do not know, is my home away from home.
Yes.
And COVID gives this unique experience that I could be there, even though I'm not there. And so that is so awesome.
Yes.
That I could, I stream Mount Moriah, who's my local home, and then I stream PTI because I love the praise and worship team. It's just so amazing. It's so full of life. I love it. It gives me life. And so I so appreciate it. So today we are going to get into the sauce. We're going to be talking about becoming a treasure.
Yes.
And we're kind of like going back to Proverbs, right?
Yes.
On and kind of diving into that on he who findeth him a wife findeth him a good thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
A good thing, treasure. And so tell us a little bit about what are we first understanding what it is to be a treasure.
Well, first, understanding what it means to be a treasure is you have to know there's only one you.
Right.
There's nobody else like you.
Right.
God made you an original.
Yes.
No matter if you have a twin, you don't have the same fingerprints, you don't have the same footprint. There is only one you, which makes you a rare commodity.
That's right.
So therefore, you are a treasure. And when you have something that's valuable, you'll take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll protect it at all costs. It's like going into the store. You see a shirt, and it's the top of the line shirt. It's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there's no way that as a woman or a man, you should put yourself on the sale rack.
There you go.
Right. I love it. And so, so valuing yourself because you are unique. I love that. And so let's expanding on that, right? How do you find yourself? So we know that, he who findeth himself a wife, right, findeth him that treasure, right? But there's a process that women have to take to become treasure, right? To become that wife, like worthy of being a wife.
Yes.
If I be so bold to say, I know somebody's gonna come after me, but like, what? Worthy? I know. Okay. All right. All right. So how do we be that person that when he finds us, he can identify that we are that treasure?
Well, I think one of the things that we have to understand is we have to set the standards for ourselves first.
Okay.
We have to know who we are within ourselves. Please
Yes.
get comfortable. We have to know who we are within ourselves first,
Mhm.
because I think it starts from childhood. When you watch your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, and you see their relationship, there's something in their relationship that you see that you want for yourself.
Right. Right.
And so you learn from the women in your life, you learn from the men in your life what's expected.
Mhm.
Right.
And you even learn from their mistakes.
Yes.
Right.
You learn from what they do right and you learn from what they do wrong.
Yes.
Right. Now,
So
those.
I think, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You were.
So I think it comes, especially for a woman, is the fact that we're disciplined and
Right.
we have self control.
Mhm.
Because one thing you cannot do is once a woman makes up her mind, she's made up her mind. That's
That's
it.
right.
It's a done deal.
Right. So I like that idea of um being in control,
Yeah.
right? And I know we had talked about a little bit in episode 7 about women setting the standard,
Mhm.
Yes.
right? And so as far as the episode, as far as the dating process is concerned, right?
Mhm.
As far as us becoming that treasure, what are the standards that we should hold ourselves to, right?
Well, let's start with understanding that beauty runs below the skin,
Right.
Mhm.
beauty runs deep. And unfortunately, today, it's more so about my breast, hips, and thighs. Oh, my.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
So when you cover yourself up, you don't have to expose every part of your body.
Right.
Right.
That's one of the things. A treasure is covered,
Mhm.
Right.
a treasure is hidden.
Right.
So you have to know that just because you dress exposing yourself, there's no man that's looking at you and saying, wow, she looks smart,
Right.
Yes.
or she looks intelligent, or she looks educated.
Mhm.
Right.
What the only thing, they have a one track mind. Once they see you like that, they're saying, okay, I'm just trying to get that.
Right.
They're not
Yes.
trying to look for a long term relationship. So, number one, you have to dress the part,
Right.
because when you think about it, when you dress a certain way, you can be visibly loud but verbally silent,
Mm.
because they can't hear you past the way you look.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
So it's important that you carry yourself in a way that is respectful and
Right.
respectable. And it shows that, and when you walk, you carry yourself with your head high
Right.
Right.
and your back straight.
Right. Right. I
That
love
says, look, I'm a woman that values herself.
right.
That means I'm educated, I have substance. I'm not just out here waiting to sit on the bench waiting on somebody to pick me up. I'm
Right.
here because I have something to offer.
Right. And I want to talk about that for a little while. Just
Mhm.
kind of dive down a little bit deeper into that. And so, we talk about knowing who you are, right? As
Mhm.
that first takeaway. I hope y'all are taking notes. Okay. Where's the camera? I hope y'all are taking notes. All
Right.
right. Knowing who you are,
Yes.
right? Second, you have to look the part. You have to
Yes.
carry yourself in that manner that exudes that you are a treasure,
Yes.
right? And
Mhm.
that requires you covering up. Now, I want to explore that for a minute
Okay.
because I have found, and I could be honest in my own journey. In my own journey, because you guys, one of the things that I feel obligated to do is, to educate you based on my own journey, right? Because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, like, we are all on the potter's wheel. We are all a work in
Yes.
progress,
Yes.
right? And I don't want anybody to feel like, oh yes, like, no, 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 no. We've all been through there. We've all
Mhm.
been through there. And so being there now means nothing. Means that you are working, just like we are
Right.
all working. And so using myself as a reference, because I felt that more so because I got married when I was 18.
Okay.
So it was right off the bat, I was, like I was in that space, right?
Mhm.
But really where I kind of um had some difficulty was after that divorce, right? Got divorced
Okay.
in 2008. And it was, I remember myself leading a lot with being sexy, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and I see that a lot now, right? Where is that we're looking that whole idea of revealing parts of yourself that like are intimate parts of yourself, right? As a requirement of being single. And so I want to explore that a little bit, right? Um,
Mhm.
in that, um, how does that relate back to carrying yourself a certain way, right? Like, what's the thought behind um if you're on this journey to become a wife, why is it not best suitable for you to lead with that sexiness?
Okay, can I get that?
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
so men are hunters,
Mhm.
right? There's nothing wrong with showing a certain level of sexiness, right?
Mhm.
Because the first thing they're going to do is what they see first,
Right.
right? The problem that happens now is well, let's put it this way. In the past, we used to want to look at the face to see how beautiful she is.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Now it's switched,
Right.
and I'll get to that in a minute.
The
But
breast, hip, and
but
thighs. Oh my.
right, and now now it's getting to the point. I'll just go ahead and say now it gets to the point to along with the breasts, hips, and thighs. Now and forgive me for saying this, but now they look at the beauty from the booty,
Mhm.
and it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
and and this is where I went back before when we had talked once before that
Right.
women have the power
Right.
Mhm.
because you can look uh sexy in a business suit.
Mm.
Mhm.
You don't have to dress like all very provocative and all
Right.
that stuff. You can look sexy in certain pairs of jeans.
Mhm. Mhm.
You don't have to, again, you don't have to dress so provocative that that's
Right.
all they're going to see. And then again, like my wife said, you're going to be talking loudly from an external portion.
Mhm.
But when you're trying to really show people your true voice, they're not trying to hear that because all they're trying to hear is how can I get with you?
Right.
What can you do for me? All this other stuff.
Mhm.
Whereas to build yourself up
Right.
in regards to that status, when you dress a certain way, that can also exude power.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like if I was a single man, I would love to see a beautiful woman in a business suit.
Mhm.
She all about her business. She taking care of things. She got the look like she don't need a man.
Right.
For a man like me, I'm a hunter. When
Mhm.
I see that, I got to hunt, and most men are like that, right?
Right.
Right.
Now I've got my bride. I don't
Right.
need to hunt no more. But it's to the point now that I have my treasure.
Right.
But I got to make sure that every time I see my treasure, I adore her just like I did when I first discovered her.
Right. Right.
And the way how she carries herself always keep me to that point to where my adoration of her is just like what it was when I first saw her.
Right. So I like that. I like that idea of it's you could still bring out your feminine, and I'm gonna move away from the sexiness. I'm gonna just say you could bring out your feminine,
Mm-hmm.
like femininity.
Right.
See that
Right.
Jamaican tongue be messing me up at the end. You can bring out your femininity, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yet still remain conservative, right?
Yes.
Yes.
If he's looking for a treasure, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
He's gonna be looking for that person that's conservative, right?
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so so we got 3 takeaways so far, y'all. I hope y'all taking notes, all right? Know who you are, love who you are, because you're unique. Set your standard,
Yes.
right? Set
Hmm.
your standard and cover it up.
Yes.
Yes.
Cover it up. Not,
Yes.
I mean, and I don't want to like sound like, because I know, because you guys, we're all young, right?
Yes.
And so we're not saying like cover it up. We're like 10 times your size, right?
Right.
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 There's a time and place for everything.
Yes.
Right. Just
Right.
be mindful, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
you want people to respect you for who you
Yes.
are, not just by how you look.
Okay.
Right.
And when you get that mentality, then you're going to be a little more conservative into how you present yourself, but at the
Yes.
same time you can still keep that level of sexy in it, right? And also it can also not just be as to what you wear,
Right.
Yes.
the way how you carry yourself, your demeanor, your the way how you respond to people, the
The
way.
way how you speak.
Yes, the way how you speak,
Right.
it goes into, your makeup, how the way you got your hair, fried, dyed, and laid to the side, right? Like they used to say back
Right.
in the old days. But the way how your hair is fixed. I mean, it's so many different things that
Yes.
real men will pick up on,
Mm-hmm.
that you'll be amazed as to what intrigues them about you.
Right. Now let's
So,
so and I want to touch into a little bit of this.
Okay.
About as far as carrying yourself, as kind of going back to being that treasure, right?
Mm-hmm.
How what are the qualities, right? So what are the things that we need to start paying attention to? So we talk about like the standard, and as far as like the physical appearance on how you're carrying yourself, but I want to explore a little bit about that, the mental state of mind that we need to have in operating in that space, so that when he does find us, he knows exactly what he's found. So, what are the mental aspects of being in that space? And I think we touched on one as the first one, which was knowing who you are and
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
understanding that you are unique.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But because I think when I think about being a good wife, right? I think about things like um, making sure that you are. We talk about being subservient versus being submissive, which we're going to be having an entire episode on that.
Right.
But kind of like making sure that we are able to be submissive to our husbands, right?
Mhm.
Understanding, knowing how to just kind of operate in that space, because I think, and let me just go back to this. When I was married,
Mm-hmm.
my life was consumed with my husband,
Mhm.
right? It was
Okay.
like everything was about him. My whole existence was his wife
Mm-hmm.
and nothing else, right?
Mhm.
And so I want to talk about that in terms of like state of like mental state, right? As
Mm-hmm.
in preparing yourself to be in that space with someone, like what are the steps that you need to take?
Okay.
You go ahead.
I think for me in that situation, what I do is I take time for myself.
Mhm.
You can't be so consumed with that other person that you don't take care of yourself.
Mhm.
Right.
Because if you don't take care of yourself, how are you supposed to take care of anybody else?
Yes.
Right.
So for me, it's even if I have to go into another room, sit down, read a book for a few minutes, or go outside, go for a walk, take that opportunity to take care of yourself. Run a hot bath, light some candles, do what you got to do,
Right.
but to take care of you. And I think that one of the best qualities is preparation, always being prepared.
Mhm.
Because whether you know it or not, most people who become a wife, they were a wife before they became one.
Right.
They had the qualities before they became a wife.
Mhm.
Right.
Because as you grew up, your family taught you how to cook, they taught you how to clean, they taught you how to do all these different things. So you were a wife before you became one.
Right.
And the thing is, you have to be, because it says a man who findeth a wife findeth a good thing.
Right.
The thing is, you have to be available to be found.
Mhm.
Right.
And I think that even when I think about when I think about the qualities of a woman,
Mhm.
Proverbs 31:10 always comes to mind,
Right.
which is, who can find a virtuous wife?
Right.
For her worth is far above rubies. And when you think about being virtuous, virtuous means honorable
Mhm.
and strong.
Mhm.
And that means she has principles, she has morals, she has ethics. She has all of those things. And when you think about rubies, they're precious stones, and their value is based on their rarity and their appearance.
Mhm.
Yes.
So when you appear, you have that appearance that you're valuable, and you value yourself in the way you speak, in the way you dress, in the way you carry yourself,
Mhm.
then other people will see that.
Right.
Right.
So one of the most powerful characteristics is being honorable and being trustworthy and
Right.
being educated and being a person of substance.
Mm.
In other words, have your stuff together.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
also prayer is key.
Yes.
Right.
Um, Develop a prayer life. Because a lot of times when you develop that prayer life and establish a relationship,
Yes.
Mhm.
and that's the biggest thing that you want to do when you're developing your prayer life. You don't want to just pray, just I want. That's
That genie in a bottle mentality.
yeah. That's
Right.
you're making God a religious God instead of making him a relationship God, right?
Yes.
And God will always give you the right things, the right tools, the right person that'll cross your path, the right things to say. And then also those principles and things of that nature, which you'll learn from reading the word
Yes.
along with your prayer life with God, then that's going to help guide you to make the right decisions.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
you'll be able to see something that's not right a mile away before it even gets to you.
Yes.
And you'll
Right.
be able to make the right decision to be able to do it. Now, I say that you'll be able to make the right decisions to do it
Right.
because there's this one factor that's
Yes.
called flesh
Yes.
that's very insatiable.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know to be able to quench the thirst for flesh at the same time
Yes.
while you see that wrong thing coming. Because sometimes you can still make that wrong decision to go ahead and do that thing that you
Right.
know you wasn't supposed to do in the first place. That's why
Right.
the Bible says that you're fearfully and you're wonderfully made because you have the right to make a decision to do
Yes.
things.
Right.
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 So so along with that, everything builds up with time. You can't
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and expect this to be something that's quick and easy, and you got God in as a genie in the lamp type thing, right?
Yes.
I put it this way: a quick analogy, then I'm gonna stop, right? Because I talk too much. Look at it like we both are Giants fans, right?
Right.
We love our Giants. We want to come to the stadium, and
Mm-hmm.
if we get a chance to meet the players, we're gonna meet the players. And one of the things we're gonna encourage them: y'all gonna win today. We gonna get
Right.
a win today. Y'all
Right.
gonna win, and we know that's gonna happen. But here's the thing: a lot of times people don't understand that they want the instant victory, but they don't want to go through the process to be
Yes.
able to get there. They're
Right.
not they're not at the practice field. They're not there before the team gets there and after
Mm-hmm.
the team gets there to work on their technique. They're not in the training room with the
Right.
coaches to be able to go over different videos and different playbooks to try to make things down to a science. They're not there when you're injured. They're not there when you're lifting weights. They're
Right.
not there when you're running all these different routines and then all the different things that you got to go through. They just want to be there to claim the victory.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
A lot of times we put God in that same fashion.
Yes.
Mhm.
We want him to just give us the victory, but we don't want to go through the process to be
Mhm.
able to attain the victory ourselves
Right.
because
Right.
he already laid the victory out for you. He just
Right.
wants you to be able to go through the different tasks to be able to get there. So that way, once when you grasp that, now your principles come into place. And now
Yes.
you know what you want and what you don't want. And all these different things that you'll be able to see different qualities in a man before you get to
Mm-hmm.
the point where you're ready to introduce them to
Yes.
your village, right?
Right.
And
So
now
what I'm
you've
hearing
already yeah.
so
Mhm.
what I'm hearing is that this process requires, before you begin your journey, an intimate relationship with God.
Yes.
Yes.
First and foremost, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Because that's going to open up your eyes as to what you need to shed and what you need to
Mm-hmm.
grow on,
Right.
Right.
right?
Yes.
Before you begin the journey. Okay. All
Yes.
right.
Self-help books are only going to get you but so far.
Right. 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 I love that. And I think that is kind of where um I I I think, it's important for us to really understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think from my journey, I feel like the closer I became with God, the less foolishness that came
Mm-hmm.
my way, you
Yes.
know? I know he was like, like, no entry.
Right.
And so, yeah, so I love that idea of, building your relationship with God so that you'll be able to have that discernment
Yes.
to identify, right?
Mhm.
And I also believe that it helps you in understanding who you are,
Yes.
Yes.
because the more I dive into who I am, the
Mm-hmm.
closer my relationship is with God. And I think
Yes.
Mhm.
because of the revelation that I understand of
Mm-hmm.
who He is, I learn more about myself. And I
Yes.
Yes.
think it goes back to that, to number one as well, in this, in what we talked about, in knowing who you are and understanding your power. That
Yes.
also comes from knowing God, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
understanding who He is. And so, um, and I love that. And because I often hear, and so many run away from the biblical principles for fear that is just, it's old school, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I don't want to be like a churchy, and
Right.
so, but these principles, they really are set forth to kind of protect who we are, right?
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
And really, you get what you desire by following these principles, right? Because
Yes.
Mhm.
the closer you follow them, the more you are likely to achieve your end goal, right? So
Yes.
Yes.
kind of reeling back to becoming a treasure.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you said make yourself more available, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you are dating, um, and because there's so many ways of dating nowadays.
Right.
Right. Right. Right.
There's Tinder, there's Bumble, there's like, and I even found out from Clubhouse that Facebook has single groups.
Wow.
Mhm.
Listen, y'all, don't shoot me because I
It's
don't,
amazing.
right, I know, but it's like, okay, so there's so many different things that are out here.
Mm-hmm.
when you say make yourself available, what exactly, how do we make ourselves available to be found as a treasure?
It's about allowing yourself to be seen. And nowadays, it's really hard because now you can be catfished.
Right,
And, it's difficult because now with Facebook and all the social media sites, you don't know who you're talking to.
right, right,
So unless you just happen to meet them somewhere and say, hey, make sure you social distance, but I want to actually see you face to face, it's really hard.
Yeah, yeah. With
right,
this pandemic, it definitely is not that easy to make yourself available anymore.
Right.
But also, you know, it could be in a general conversation with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That you met at, like, let's say, like, if you're traveling, you're at a airport, or you're at a hotel, or you're just in general, maybe at a coffee shop, or things
Right.
like that. um Sometimes, my version of making yourself more available is not being so close-minded that when somebody comes and say hello, you're immediately on the defensive,
Right.
and like, what are they about? What do you want? And then then you come up with these crazy things to try to determine way, may come back and say, hey, I got COVID. You want to talk to me? You know, you
don't
know,
be awkward, y'all.
you I know that's crazy, right?
Right,
But some of those things, come about. And again, it starts back with that prayer life. I understand that some people don't like the churchy stuff. I don't like the churchy stuff, right? I'm more about relationship.
Yes.
So when you bring those things into a line into your life,
right,
all of that stuff is going to teach you how to be able to make yourself available to the right person.
right,
You can make yourself available and just be casual and cordial with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that. But then when you're ready to, be intrigued by that person and really want to see what they're about, then now, you still have your standards, you still have your qualities, right? And
right,
usually that person that met the majority of them,
Yes.
they're not going to always meet 100% of what you're looking for, right?
right, right,
It is always going to, you got to understand also it's going to be a give and take too. And then, look for those signs. Make sure you don't see any bit of craziness, and of course you don't see the wolves' feet with the claws in them, right?
right, right,
Uh,
right.
you know,
That we see, so we pay attention. So
Yes.
yes,
basically, just kind of like to wrap up, I'm gonna like jump. I know we talked about this later on, but I'm gonna jump it up to number one. Is
Okay.
one, like, build your relationship with God first and
Yes.
foremost,
yes,
right?
yes.
Know Him, build a relationship with Him,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And then number two is understanding your power,
Yes.
Yes.
right? Knowing your power, knowing who you are at your core. And
Yes.
if you haven't listened to episode 5, okay, because we talk about doing the work, all right, you got to do the work,
Yes.
okay? You have to be able to understand who you are at your core, right?
Yes.
Understanding what is your attachment style, right?
Yes.
What are the things that happened in your past that has created barriers, and
Yes.
what those barriers are. All right. So go back and listen to episode 5. As a matter of fact, if you haven't done so, listen to episode 1 through 7. Okay?
Exactly.
Because this is a journey, and
Yes.
you have to get on the embarkation. All
Yes.
right. And so, yeah, so definitely listen to that. And then number 3, I think we're on 3, right?
Mhm.
3, making sure that you set a standard. So, standard, and the standard is focused on like understanding what, um, like a husband's role is,
Yes.
right? Or something like, yes, a husband's role is, and then cover it up. You could
Yes.
you could bring you could bring sexy, right? Or your
Mhm.
femininity without having to reveal every part of who you are, because you are a treasure, right?
Yes.
And in order to be a treasure, you have to operate in that space, right,
Yes.
Pastor Lisa?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm so excited that we had this conversation. We There's some valuable gems that we got today. Great, 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 great conversation. I'm so glad that you guys were able to join us. I'm so happy. Our first live recording. So
Yes.
excited.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
So, any last takeaways?
I would say I was just thinking about this, in regards to the prayer life, to
Yes.
knowing your worth, to know who you are through your prayer life. You'll figure those things out as you go along. Once you figure those things out, you're gonna know your worth, and then after that, you'll understand the true value of you, the treasure that's within you. And then once when you understand that, then now scripture comes in. He who findeth a wife findeth a good thing and found favor in the Lord, right? And then after that, the other portion of scripture that says that, hey, where his treasure is, so is his heart.
Yes.
When you have when you finally figure that out within your relationship with God, your value now becomes on display. Now that man, when he sees you, he's going to see you for who you really are. And then now he's going to realize that that's the treasure I want.
Yes.
That's my good thing I want. That's my favor in the Lord that I need. And then now you will understand why I said you truly have the power.
Awesome. Awesome. Pastor Lisa, any last?
So I'm going to say this. For those of you that are dating, I want you to understand never to let anybody become complacent or comfortable with playing house
Yes.
and playing couples. It is
Mhm.
time for playtime to be over.
Mhm.
You are not to be treated as an option. You are not to be treated as an accessory. You are an asset.
Mhm.
You are a beautiful gem, and you are worthy of respect and
Yes.
acceptance. And just make sure you walk in it.
That's
That's
Right.
right.
it.
That's so awesome. And she just spoke life into me, y'all. I don't know about y'all getting it. And I hope you got that and understand that. Reel that back, rewind. We are live, but you could still rewind later on, okay? So that you could get that play by play because this is what it is. And so I am so thankful for you guys. I'm so appreciative of you taking time out on your Thursday evening to join me on this journey. And so I'm going to sign off here. And so until next, make sure that you guys are tuned in next week, Thursday, same time, 7 o'clock. We're going to be broadcasting live here again next week, Thursday. So make sure you're tuned in for that. And so until then, we'll sign off. Thank you guys again.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.